You know that feeling when you come home from a trip, suitcase still in hand, expecting to collapse on your couch, only to find your whole world turned upside down. That was me, standing in my driveway in Oak Ridge, California, staring at a bright red auction sign nailed to my fence like some kind of scarlet letter. Public auction. Foreclosure sale. Saturday, 10 a.m. My house, my lawn, my life up for grabs while I was gone for a week helping my brother move. I'm Jack Harper, just a guy trying to live quietly in a cookie-cutter suburb with tidy lawns and nosy neighbors. But that sign wasn't just a mistake, it was a declaration of war from Linda Voss, the HOA president who ran our neighborhood like her personal fiefdom. Picture her, mid-50s, blonde bob, always in pastel cardigans, clutching a clipboard like it's the Constitution, sipping iced tea with a smirk that could curdle milk. She was sitting across the street that morning, folding chair parked under an oak tree, sunglasses perched on her nose, watching me like a hawk circling roadkill. This whole mess started 3 months earlier over a $400 fine she slapped me with for excessive noise. My crime? Replacing my roof. Apparently, the sound of hammers keeping rain out of my house was an assault on the neighborhood serenity. I laughed it off at first, told her she wasn't my landlord and I wasn't paying a dime. Big mistake. Linda didn't take kindly to defiance. She'd built her whole identity on controlling every mailbox color, every blade of grass, even the number of Christmas lights you could hang. She once fined old Mrs. Delgado for having too festive a wreath. That's the kind of petty we're talking about. So, when I left town for 7 days, Linda saw her chance. My neighbor Sam, a retired mechanic who always smells faintly of motor oil, told me she called an emergency HOA meeting the second my car pulled out. Claimed I'd abandoned my property and racked up fines I never even knew about, fines she conveniently sent to a typo-ridden email address. She used some obscure HOA clause meant for derelict houses to push a foreclosure sale. My house wasn't vacant. Mind you, I'd been gone a week. But Linda wasn't about truth. She was about power. There I was, that Friday morning, jet-lagged, furious, staring at that sign while Linda sipped her tea like she was at a garden party. I marched across the street, suitcase rattling behind me, and said, "Linda, what the hell is this?" She barely looked up, just flicked her pen against her clipboard and chirped, "Oh, Jack, you're back early. It's just procedure, dear. You didn't respond to our notices." "Notices?" I snapped. "What notices?" She gave me that syrupy smile, the kind that makes you want to punch a wall, and said, "Well, we sent them while you were gone. You really should have left a proxy." A proxy? For my own damn house. I could feel my blood boiling, but I kept it together and said, "You mean you decided to sell my home, Linda? Just you?" Her lips twitched, and she muttered, "We'll see what the bidders think tomorrow." That line burned into my brain. That night, I didn't sleep. I was on the phone with my lawyer, Tom, who nearly spit out his coffee when I told him. "She can't do that," he said. "No HOA has foreclosure power without a court order. This is fraud, Jack." He told me to gather every document I had, deeds, receipts, emails. Sure enough, I found Linda's notices sent to Jarper with 2 R's, not my real email. It wasn't a mistake, it was a setup. By morning, I had a plan, and it wasn't just about saving my house, it was about exposing her. Saturday dawned bright and ugly. Linda had turned my front lawn into her personal stage, complete with a podium, a plastic gavel, and a banner screaming "Community Restoration Event." Neighbors lined up in folding chairs like they were at a county fair, some curious, some just there for the drama. Linda stood tall, megaphone in hand, preaching about restoring order and how my non-compliant house needed a responsible owner. I waited until the first bid, some sleazy guy in a cheap blazer shouting $50, 000, then I stepped through the crowd, holding a folder thick with evidence. The air went still. Linda froze mid-sentence, her megaphone squeaking. "Surprise," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Auction's off." I dropped the folder on her podium with a thud that felt like justice. "You filed fake paperwork, Linda. You misused HOA funds for a lawyer. You broke county laws staging this circus." I held up my phone, where Sam was live streaming the whole thing to a local Facebook group. Hundreds were watching, comments exploding. "You tried to steal my house," I said, leaning close so the mic caught it. "And now the whole county knows." Her face went white as her cardigan. The crowd started murmuring, then laughing. The blazer guy muttered, "I'm out," and bailed. Linda stammered about miscommunication, but it was over. She'd been caught, live, in front of everyone. You'd think that'd be the end, but Linda wasn't the type to slink away. By Monday, she'd spun a new story, calling an HOA meeting to discipline me for defamation. The clubhouse was packed 30 neighbors, not the usual 5 retirees she could bully. She sat up front in a peach blazer, gavel in hand, accusing me of spreading falsehoods and endangering the HOA's reputation. I sat in the front row, calm as I could manage, and said, "You mean the time you tried to auction my house illegally?" On camera, the room erupted in laughter. Then Mrs. Delgado stood up, all 70 years of her, and said, "Linda, you're the problem." We all saw it. Others joined in: Sam, the young couple down the street, even the guy who got fined for his unauthorized bird feeder. Years of resentment poured out. Linda banged her gavel, screaming about order, but it was too late. Sam called for a vote to suspend her. Hands shot up over half the room. Her gavel slipped, hit the table with a crack, and for the first time, Linda Voss had nothing to say. I thought that was the win, but Linda didn't quit. She escalated. Over the next week, she filed fake complaints with the county about my fence height, my paint color, even my car in my own driveway. She tried to cut off my water with a forged HOA request. My tires got slashed one night, and my cameras caught a figure with a dog bone keychain same as the one on her Pomeranian's collar. Every move was a jab, a reminder she was still watching. But I was ready. I had cameras, emails, witnesses. The county started investigating her for fraud after we found her forged signatures on the auction filings. It wasn't just me she'd targeted. She'd been terrorizing the neighborhood for years, and people were done. Then came the fire. One night, the HOA clubhouse went up in flames. Arson, cameras disabled, all the records gone. Nobody could prove it was Linda, but she'd been seen nearby an hour before. The neighborhood went quiet after that, like we were all holding our breath. Linda vanished, her house dark, mail piling up. Rumors said she'd fled to Arizona, maybe to start over in another HOA, another clipboard, another kingdom. But then I got a package. No return address, just a rusty key to my old gate and a note. "You forgot something." My stomach dropped. She wasn't gone. She was still out there, still playing her game. Months later, things started to heal. We voted to dissolve the HOA, turned it into a loose neighborhood committee. People painted their houses wild colors, planted messy gardens, lived free. But Linda wasn't done. I found out she'd moved to a new subdivision in Arizona, already worming her way into their HOA. Then came a letter from a shady real estate firm, LVS Properties, her initials, trying to buy up lots near our neighborhood. She was circling back, testing me. I didn't bite. Instead, we threw a block party, grilled burgers, blasted music, let kids draw chalk art on the street, everything she'd have fined us for. Her SUV idled at the corner that night, watching. I waved as the fireworks lit up the sky. She drove off. Last I heard, she sold her Arizona place and dropped her legal stunts. One night, my phone rung, an unknown number. "Jack," she said, voice shaky. "I'm not calling to fight. You were right. I let it consume me. I didn't buy it, not fully, but I listened. I'm volunteering now," she said. "No clipboard. Just helping." I told her, "I hope you mean it, Linda, but I'm done playing your games." She hung up, and that was it. No more letters, no more signs. Just quiet. Sometimes I walk past where the clubhouse burned. Wildflowers grow there now, tangled and free, covering the scars. I lock my gate every night, not out of fear, but because it's mine to lock. And if Linda's out there, starting over in some new cul-de-sac, I hope she's learned something. But I'm not holding my breath. What do you think? Was I right to fight back, or should I have just paid the fine and moved on? Have you ever dealt with someone like Linda, someone who'd rather burn it all down than let go? Drop a comment. Share your story. I am reading every one. This neighborhood's ours now, and I want to hear how you'd keep it that way.